You're at your parents' house for dinner, 36 years old, and your mom casually mentions they bought this house when she was 27. Your dad adds, "We were married 2 years, saved up, just seemed like the right time." You nod and smile, but internally you're doing the math. You make more than they did. You've been saving. You're careful with money, and you're still nowhere close. You drive home to your rental feeling like you've fundamentally failed at being an adult. Sound familiar? Maybe it's not your parents' dinner table. Maybe it's a cousin's housewarming party or scrolling Instagram, seeing another engagement photo in front of a Soul D sign from someone 3 years younger than you. The message is always the same. You're late, you're behind. Something is wrong with you. But here's what nobody's telling you. I'm going to show you the exact mathematical reason why you're not late. The system fundamentally changed and the numbers prove it. We're going to calculate precisely how long it takes to save a down payment now versus then, reveal the real age Americans are actually buying, not the age the industry wants you to think, and show you whether you're behind or exactly where the brutal math says you should be. The average first time homebuyer in America is now 37 years old, not 27 like your parents' generation. 37. In expensive markets like San Francisco, Los Angeles, Seattle, and Boston, that number climbs to 41 or 42. This isn't failure. This is mathematics. If you're 36 and haven't bought yet, you're not behind the curve. You're on it. You're exactly where the numbers say you should be. But let me show you why this happened. Let's establish what it actually took in 1985 versus now, because the difference is staggering. In 1985, the median home price was $75,500. Median household income was $27,735. Required down payment was $15,100. At a 10% savings rate, that's 5.4 years to save. But most people saved more aggressively and hit it in 3 years, meaning first purchase at age 26 to 28. The home price to income ratio was 2.7 to 1. Your parents needed to save roughly 2.7 years of their income to buy a house. Now, here's what that same calculation looks like in 2026. Median home price is $417,000. Median household income is $81,000. Required down payment, when you include closing costs, is $91,740. At that same 10% savings rate, that's 11.3 years. But here's the brutal truth. Most people can't save 10% anymore because rent ate the margin. In 1985, median rent was 23% of income. In 2026, it's 35%. After paying 35% to rent, saving 10% becomes saving 3 to 5%, stretching the timeline to 13 to 18 years. This explains why the age jumped from 27 to 37. The home price to income ratio is now 5.1 to 1. You're being asked to save 5.1 years of income while paying 35% to rent instead of your parents' 23%. You're not less disciplined. The game changed. Now, let me show you what this actually looks like when we calculate the complete cost of homeownership. We're going to take a realistic $450,000 home. That's the national median for first-time buyers right now. Watch what happens when we add everything up. Down payment at 20% to avoid PMI is $90,000. Closing costs at 3 to 5% add another $15,750. That's a pre-purchase total of $105,750. You need to show up with that money before you get the keys. Now, the monthly costs, your mortgage payment at 7% interest on a 30-year loan is $2,395. Property tax at the national average of 1.1% is $413 per month. Homeowners insurance is $208 per month. Maintenance reserve, and you absolutely need this, at 1% of home value annually is $375 per month. HOA, if applicable, and we'll use a conservative estimate, is $150 per month. Total monthly cost is $3,541. Now, here's where it gets truly insane. Let's reverse engineer what income you actually need to afford this. At a 28% debt to income ratio, which is the lender maximum for a good rate, and you need $151,900 in annual household income. At 33%, which is the realistic maximum most lenders will approve, you need $128,945. The median household income in America is $81,000. The median household cannot afford the median first time home. They're $48,000 to $71,000 short of the required income. The system is selling homes to people who mathematically cannot sustain them. But let me show you what this looks like for a real household doing everything right. Meet Marcus and Jennifer, both 34. Combined income of $135,000. That's well above the median. Marcus is a software engineer. Jennifer teaches high school. They live in Austin, Texas. They have one toddler. Both have student loans. Their friends consider them successful. They should be comfortable, right? Here's their complete monthly budget. Combined take home after taxes and 401k contributions is $8,100. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment is $2,100. Student loans are $680. Car payments are $545. Car insurance is $285. Health insurance, their portion after employer coverage, is $320. Groceries are $650. Utilities are $180. Phone is $140. Gas is $240. Childcare for their toddler is $1,200. Their essentials total $6,340. They have $1,760 remaining. They're trying to save for that $105,750 down payment at $1,500 per month in aggressive savings, which leaves them $260 for everything else. No restaurants, no vacations, no emergency cushion. That's 70 months. Almost 6 years of perfect execution. They started this process at 29. They'll buy at 35, exactly matching the national average. Here's what that actually feels like day to day. It feels like Jennifer doing a calculation every time a friend announces a pregnancy. That's $1,200 per month we'd lose in childcare for a second kid, pushing our purchase back 2 years. We can't have another child until we buy, and we can't buy until I'm 35. It feels like Marcus checking home prices every week and watching the target move further away despite getting raises. It feels like the RSVP calculation for weddings. $800 total cost for travel and gift equals half a month's savings equals a 1-month delay. It feels like guilt taking their toddler to a birthday party and spending $25 on a gift. The math has colonized every decision. And here's who profits from your confusion about all of this. The real estate industry consistently uses age range 25 to 29 in their advertising, creating false timeline expectations. You see those ads with young couples holding keys, and your brain registers that as normal, as the baseline, as what you should have achieved by now. But it's not reality, it's marketing. Mortgage lenders benefit from FOMO-driven purchases with inadequate down payments because, hello, PMI profit. When you put down less than 20%, you pay private mortgage insurance, which is pure profit for them and zero benefit for you. The rent is throwing money away narrative is pushed by everyone who profits from transactions. But here's the trap mechanism they don't mention. Buyers stretching to barely afford entry become locked in households. Unable to move, unable to negotiate better jobs across the country, unable to absorb financial shocks. The system doesn't want informed patient buyers. It wants captured households making maximum payments for 30 years. Now let me show you how these timelines stretch in expensive markets. Because if you're in one of these cities, you need to hear this. In San Francisco, the median first-time home is $920,000. Required down payment is $207,000. At $150,000 household income and a 10% savings rate, that's 13.8 years. Start saving at 25, buy at 39. In Seattle, $720,000 homes require $158,400 down payment. 11.7 years at the same savings rate. This is why the average climbs to 41 or 42 in these markets. It's not lifestyle choices. It's mathematical impossibility for median earners. Quick comparison. In Cleveland, the median first-time home is $215,000, and down payment is $47,325. 6.2 years to save at the same parameters. The market determines your timeline more than your discipline does. Let me give you permission to do something radical. You can choose not to play this game. If you're 36 and haven't bought yet, The math says you're exactly on schedule, possibly ahead if you're in an expensive market. Your parents at 27 weren't more disciplined. They weren't more mature. They weren't better with money. They were asked to save 2.7 years of income while you're being asked to save 5.1 years of income while paying 35% to rent instead of their 23%. You're not late. The game changed without announcement. Here's your warning threshold. If the total monthly housing cost, that's your mortgage, plus tax, plus insurance, plus maintenance, plus HOA, exceeds 40% of your gross income, you cannot afford that home. I don't care what the lender approves. Lenders approve maximum debt loads because they profit from maximum debt loads. Their approval is not a blessing. It's a business decision about their risk tolerance, not yours. If reaching the down payment requires more than 10 years of disciplined saving, the market is telling you it's not designed for your income level. And that's okay. You have alternatives. Renting in expensive markets while investing 20% of income in index funds historically produces comparable wealth to home equity. Geographic arbitrage, moving to markets where median income can actually afford the median home, is a valid strategy. Waiting until your income increases through career advancement rather than buying at maximum capacity gives you options. Household mobility for job opportunities often generates more wealth than home equity ever will. Not buying when the math doesn't work isn't failure. It's financial literacy. You're not late to adulthood. You've correctly diagnosed a broken system. Your hesitation isn't weakness, it's mathematics. The median American household earning $81,000 cannot afford the median first-time home at $450,000 without severe financial distress. They're $48,000 to $71,000 short of the income required to comfortably carry that monthly cost. Your parents bought at 27 because a house cost 2.7 times their income, and rent took 23% of their paycheck. You're 36 or 37 because a house costs 5.1 times your income, and rent takes 35% of your paycheck. The brutal math added 10 years to the timeline. You didn't fail. You responded correctly to changed economics. When you see someone younger buying, you're seeing one of three things: parental help, whether that's a down payment gift or co-signing that nobody mentions; dual high income household, usually two people in tech or finance, which is not the median experience; or someone stretching to a dangerous debt level who'll be house poor and financially fragile for years. You're not seeing normal. You're seeing outliers amplified by social media, while the 37-year-old median stays hidden. So here's what I need you to understand. If you're running the numbers and they don't work, you're doing it right. If you're hesitating because the monthly cost would eat 45% of your income, you're doing it right. If you're choosing to rent and invest instead, you're doing it right. If you're waiting for your income to catch up to housing costs rather than stretching to the breaking point, you're doing it right. You're not behind, you're literate. You've read a system that now requires 13 years of saving instead of 3, that expects you to pay 35% to rent while accumulating 5 times your annual income instead of 2.7 times. The age shifted from 27 to 37 because the mathematics shifted. You're exactly where the numbers say you should be. Your parents at 27 weren't more disciplined, more mature, or better with money. They played a different game with different rules. You're playing the game that actually exists in 2026, and the fact that you're questioning whether you can afford it means you understand what affordability actually requires. That's not failure, that's wisdom.